Welcome to Source Not Found, a show about the worst versions of your favorite things. Every other week, we explore an IP, franchise, or fandom by way of its sequels, spin-offs, and side projects. Basically anything but the source material. I'm Brandon June, and is this game set in France? Because when it came to combat, I had a grand time in gay Paris.
Jesus Christ. And my name is Bo Woodall, and I'm just a cute but malevolent cat woman who really just wants to serve you some good old tea.
Oh, I love them. I love that tea house.
Yeah, tea house was awesome.
Yeah. Howdy, everybody.
Hi, everyone. This episode, we are covering the May 13, 2025 release, Labyrinth of the Demon King.
Mm-hmm.
And Brando, this one was a recommendation from you, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, this month is kind of my topic choice with yōkai and Japanese horror.
Yeah.
And I played this like right after it came out. And I don't know how you feel. We're going to get into it, but I liked it enough to suggest it as an episode topic. And I thought it fit right in with our current exploration of yōkai. It definitely does. Whether or not you like the game.
Yes,
like,
it definitely... I have thoughts on the game.
Yōkai.
I have thoughts on the game.
You might have thoughts about being cluster-fucked between a bunch of yōkai in a narrow hallway.
Yes.
If you're anything like me. Yes.
Yeah, but it certainly does fit into this month's discussion. I do have thoughts that you're probably going to disagree with most of them. But for those of you who are listening to for a video game episode that we're covering for the first time, we approach video games in 5 different categories: narrative structure, gameplay, visuals, sound, and fun factor. We score those out of 10. At the end, it's scored out of 100. Pretty easy stuff. I do all the math for you, so don't worry about that at all.
I never worry about math. I just ignore it.
Yeah, I would love to. I am math boy, but I'm real bad with numbers.
But you're better than me, so.
So let's jump right in. Like, we really went into yōkai pretty well, I think, in our last episode. So I don't know if there's really a reason to delve more into what yōkai kind of are and how they function. All we do know is this game, they are heavily featured.
Yeah, I would say if you don't know yōkai or want to learn a little bit more about yōkai, check out our last episode 53, Yōkai and Junji Ito.
Yes. And we even offer some recommendations for some reading material and things like that. So...
I thought I might touch on a few that show up in this game because we didn't talk about them last episode, and this is probably the place to do it. But just to start things off, what is this game? What is Labyrinth of the Demon King? It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like in terms of setup, like narratively.
Narratively, definitely.
With scores?
Sure. Yeah, we can leave it with scores.
Yeah. I gave it an 8.5.
I gave it a 7.5.
Okay. I guess I'll just...
Yeah, please hit me.
Yeah, I'll jump off here. It's not a complex setup, like I just mentioned. You are serving under Lord Takeda Nobumitsu. You're basically just here in the Demon King's Labyrinth to avenge your fallen lord. You meet some NPCs along the way, but it's mostly just about your solitary journey through a series of horrific areas. You meet some really compelling characters along the way, but there's really just not a lot of narrative here. So when I was judging it, I thought about it more like the momentary interactions with NPCs and the way it establishes the atmosphere and tone, and like, does it deliver on the promises of that setup? Like, judging the game for what it is. Like, it's not a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth situation where we have a lot of character to discuss. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I agree 100%. I scored it a little bit differently. I focused more on the fact that in this case, the simplicity was what gave it a higher score for me. Like, if they tried to delve deeper into minutia, then I for as short of a game as this is, I feel like it would be very foggy to play.
Yeah. Actually, it's literally a very foggy game. It is a murky, nasty, grimy mess.
I wasn't sure if you were going to take that, but yeah, it's very foggy.
Yeah, always. I have a scene that sort of encapsulates my thoughts on the game and why I gave it an 8.5. So
Okay.
there is the woman that you rescue from, I think it's after you've gone through the bathhouse and are like upstairs in like a kitchen area on the other side. And she's like hiding behind the closet. And she might have had a name. I played this when it came out, so it's been some months.
I don't recall she had a name, but this is...
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's the second time you see her, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she has this sort of like expressionless mask-like facade visage with like these sort of inky weeping eyes. Just a very visually arresting, enigmatic facial expression and character. You save her and she thanks you and she teleports away back to the courtyard outside of the tea house, which is where you kind of go. That's your safe haven. It's where you can go to save and replenish your health, drink some tea, upgrade, buy consumables, and talk to some of the NPCs that you've saved and gathered along the way. So you're outside in this courtyard area. It's like a light drizzling rain. It's very foggy. You hear the howl and the creak of the buildings. You're standing outside talking to this, again, very creepy, enigmatic visage. And she'll tell you a bit about her backstory. So the interaction starts with, after you've just saved her and you meet her for the first time back in the courtyard. Oh, you made it here. I'm happy. And we'll get into this in the visual or in the sound. But all the speech in this game is like this just garbled, unintelligible, just massive noise, which is very, to me, like a high point, like a pro of the game in establishing its atmosphere. I really liked that choice. But anyway, you have just this disembodied text over this garbled vocal track. The Demon King, he has a taste for the flesh of young women. Long ago, his men stole me and all the other women from my village. We were kept as his servants until he started to hunger. Then he would pick one, and she would be eaten alive by him and his guests. When it was my turn, he started by peeling a long piece of flesh from my back. But my flesh tastes different from other girls. He could not finish it. So he decided to keep me as a servant instead. I've been stuck here an eternity, cleaning and cooking and other things. And she just keeps trailing off at the end of each of these sentences, right? And like that with like the unsettling ambient, do you even call it white noise? Brown noise? It's like nasty, murky white noise just at all times. Out in the rain and like what is said, but even more so what is left unsaid as she's describing these horrific events, and your imagination just sort of runs with, why does your flesh taste different? What else was done to you? This is horrifying and heartbreaking. And, you know, that is this game. It is all about the horrors, like just beyond understanding, just beyond perception, lurking behind every corner, left unsaid, the sort of miasma of anxiety and dread. You don't define it or put a term to it. It's kind of left amorphous. This is reinforced by the visual design, like the sort of PS1 grainy, gritty, low poly aesthetic, but just giving you like a basic framework of a narrative and like a sketching of characters, but obscuring a lot of it, just leaving it unexplored. And I love that choice. And I think in establishing an atmosphere and a tone for the game, I think what was here was horrifying enough to put the sense of like fear and dread in me and motivate me to reach the end. But it didn't over-explain. It didn't overdevelop the narrative. It was just enough. So, yeah, 8.5.
I actually agree with you 100% on how it leaves things unsaid and lets your own kind of fear of the worst fill in those blanks.
Yes, absolutely.
But there were occasions where, like, the relationship between the trader and the blacksmith, where it is not unsaid. Like they don't leave much on the, like, there are times it shifts so dramatically tonally for me. And that's why instead of it being like an 8.5 for me, it drops down 1 point. I mean, I still think it very much succeeds in what it is trying to do, conveying this like horror through the unsaid and horror through the unknown and horror and terror through kind of your own anxieties. Because we'll get into that with visuals and sound as well. But it really, really uses those as weapons, both against the player and against the character.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I like that take. For me, actually, that wasn't a negative, because the first leg of this game is just so oppressive.
Yeah.
And difficult and obtuse. And then, you figure out as you go a little bit, it starts to make more sense. It doesn't hold your hand to any degree. When you make it to the tea house, actually, now you have this haven, this central point of safety that you can always return to. And so having some like bickering and banter between the NPCs there actually helped, for me, create a sense of safety in that environment, which you might say that detracts from the overall sense of dread in the world, and that is correct. But for me, it actually enhances the contrast between your safe haven and the dangers that are waiting outside, and sort of gives you more hesitation as a player of like jumping back into the shit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The safer your safe haven feels, the more horrific the rest of the game feels by contrast. Even if overall, like, now we have a sense of life in this world. It is like a cold, dead, lifeless world. It's very lonely. And just having any sort of friendly character, or at least a non-enemy character, however friendly they might actually end up being, it does bring a bit of warmth to the world. But to me, that was a fair trade-off. But I see your point for sure.
I mean, I was going to say, like, the little cat lady trader person is not what you would call a good character, I don't think, right? Like,
no.
She'll just like
but not
straight up like torture people and take their flesh for soup.
Yeah, but that's soup though. But not actively trying to kill me. So
right.
Yeah. It's all relative.
Sure. I don't know. Again, I'm completely down with this story because of its simplicity. Like, a man's lord, a samurai's lord is killed, and his job is to enact vengeance.
Sure.
And slay this demon king. I think that's
yeah.
That is the goal. That is the story. There it is.
Yeah. And if you think about medieval Japan and culture and the sort of hierarchical, calcified social structures, and that idea of honor and loyalty and fulfilling your social role above all else, right? Then it should be a very simplistic tale of, we are out for vengeance. Our like social role requires us to take vengeance. Like, we live for our lord. We live for our role in this society. And so like everything else is like, there's not a lot of complexity to that. Like, obviously complex humans in every age and every society, but to sort of home in on that concept at the expense of all else. And again, like, more story would, similar to your point about the NPCs, it would degrade the atmosphere and general tone of the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like, less is more in this case. So
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I guess we have the same take. We just feel like I feel a little bit more positive about it than you. But yeah.
That's about right. Yeah. So, gameplay.
Yeah. Gameplay. This is where we might diverge a little bit. I don't know, actually. I gave it a 7.5.
I gave it a 7.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to lead on this one?
Sure, I can start us off. This is a first-person survival horror melee-based game. That's what we're looking at.
You might call it like a Kingsfield-like.
Yeah, sure.
Some of these in recent years.
I mean, you could even say on a certain level, like, it kind of has a feel of like a Skyrim like perspective, like with this, like, you don't have well, you do have magic kind of, but like with the sword and sorcery kind of aspect to it, and it's completely first person. Like, you have no over the shoulder camera, which, could have been interesting, honestly. But you run through this labyrinth in very set areas kind of akin to I mean, worldview wise, you're looking at anything like a Res Evil village, where your village is in the center and you go off and there are 4 separate locations that are all noticeably different environments. And you have something kind of similar here, where you have 4 separate big environments, or 3 noticeably different environments in the bathhouse, the House of Repetition, or the Tower of Repetition, and then the Tower of the Bells, or whatever it's actually called, in the game. And then you have the Demon King and the Tea House. But each one of these locations is noticeably different, not necessarily visually, but in the way that they are, in the way that you have to play through them and navigate through them, they are noticeably different. And they also have noticeably different enemies within each area. The game is mostly about, obviously getting through, solving puzzles, killing as much as you possibly can, and making sure that your resources are in some semblance of good shape before you go fight a boss. Because this game is not forgiving when it comes to combat. It is also not forgiving when it comes to you dying, because you don't recover the things that you used when you die. You don't go back to like a different save point. No, you just start over again from your most recent shrine with whatever you have on you. And man alive, this was brutal.
Yeah.
It is an absolutely brutal game.
Agreed. Actually, so I stream this on Twitch, and I archive my streams. Like, Twitch only gives you 100 hours of archive videos, so I move everything over to YouTube when I'm done. But I got kind of backed up, so I was just, usually when I archive something and export it, I make a thumbnail for that video. But I was a little busy, so I just send it over to YouTube, and they will automatically generate a thumbnail based on some scene randomly chosen from within the video. And I threw a bunch over there, and when I looked through my video manager, 4 videos in a row had randomly chosen the same cuts to death screen.
Yeah.
It was all just death thumbnails, because I was seeing it so fucking much. Just deaths on deaths on deaths, just constantly, because you just brought it up. So this is why I knocked it down a little bit. I like the Kingsfield formula: slow, methodical, deliberate exploration and combat.
I'm sorry. Just slow and methodical was not how I played most of this game.
Yeah?
There were a few instances where it was, fuck these skeletons, I have to run past everything as fast as I can.
Oh, yes.
To get to a staircase. Yeah. There is no methodology to this. I am running like a bat out of hell. Please, my ass is on fire. I have to get out of this fucking area with these skeletons.
Oh, I was just sprinting wildly and frantically through vast portions of this game. But it's because the combat is slow, methodical, time-consuming. And at a certain point, I'm just like, God damn it. I know where I'm trying to get to. Fuck these skeletons. I'm out of here, because there's going to be 5 minutes of, parrying and kicking them back and blocking this and looking at my stamina. And sometimes you're just ready to move. But I do like that. I like the foundation of this game. I do. And it was rewarding to try and get it right. And I felt the stress, as I should, right? We're reinforcing the sense of horror. We're reinforcing the stakes by way of some difficult enemy encounters. But what you brought up with the frequent deaths, and yes, you just go back to the nearest save point that you visited, but you are down all your consumables, and all the enemies are going to respawn, but you will maintain the progress that you've made, if you made any. Must be nice, because often that was not the case. That was 20 minutes of just dying and getting nowhere. I wondered about, though, how they balanced that, because at a certain point, like you're talking about, I wasn't feeling the horror so much as just the annoyance of
I
just
was
being inundated with
so frustrated a couple of times.
encounters. Yeah. And it disincentivizes using consumables, which, yeah, you always want to feel the stress about like, oh, should I use this herb or this healing pack or this med kit or whatever it is, right? Like that is survival horror, like the choice to use it or not, like, because there are only so many out there. But the fact is, like with other survival horror games, like if you die, it's a hard game over. So it does feel linked to like it is worth it because you need to make it to the next save point and maybe you'll find like a safe haven there and get replenished. But here, because of the way they handle death, where everything just resets, but like they remove some of those stakes, it makes me less willing to use those consumables because like it removes some of the stakes of death, I guess, if that makes sense.
Agreed.
Like death is now just like it's a drag on your time, but there's no real stress about like everything's on the line right now. I mean, if you've cleared out an area, then you're feeling it. But like we're talking about, a lot of times if you've been through it once or twice, you're just sprinting past a lot of enemies. You don't have it cleared anyway. And it's not going to be cleared for long because something's going to kill you. Something's going to come around the corner and kill you.
I mean, you can even use on occasion, you can even use the death as a fast travel mechanic. Like,
yeah, I did that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you're doing that, you've leached the power or the stress out of death to such an extent that we are now using it. Like it's more about convenience or inconvenience as opposed to the fear of death.
By the time I was finished with this game, it was no longer a survival horror game for me. It was a fucking roguelike. Like you figure out your patterns, you figure out your circles that you need to run in, you figure out what locations you have to go to get the things that you need. Or you are very slowly trying to learn these boss mechanics and how they work. But death doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it really is just, you're going to lose 5-10 minutes, of your time.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like because it is so, I don't know, I don't want to say meaningless, but you don't want to put like any consumables on the line. You don't want to use it because really death isn't that big of a deal. So I just felt like the sort of economy or like flow within that system of like having a lot on the line, using a consumable to keep going, that other survival horror games balance well. I felt like there was less here where like I just wanted to stock everything for the boss battle.
Yeah, exactly.
And not really use it out in the world so much. And I felt like the game didn't balance that well. Like thinking about, so we're talking about Kingsfield and FromSoft, and you jump into one of their Souls games or most Souls-like games, like you immediately get it. Like this system makes sense. You get to a save point. Now, what is the next goal? The next save point.
Yeah.
And you're going to do your best to clear the enemies from here to there. And you're going to put everything on the line. You're going to use everything at your disposal. You have a refillable, consumable heal in some way. And death makes sense, and you always know the stakes immediately. And everything sort of fits together. Like it's worth healing. And I felt like it was a little murkier here.
Very. Because you don't
is it really worth it? Yeah.
You don't have a, like in Souls likes and things like that, you have a currency that you lose when you die. In this game,
yeah, that's true.
You can just fight a single enemy, kill it, take whatever they drop because you need to restock your consumables, and then die to the next enemy, and then you start over again with that consumable. So you just wash, rinse, repeat for 20 minutes so you're fully stocked before you go and actually try to make a serious run at a boss battle or something like that.
Yeah. It just felt a little, I don't know, less fine-tuned than a lot of games handle, like even other survival horror games in this genre, like handle death and consumable items. So I had knocked it down a little bit there. But there is something there with the combat. I like what it's going for, but again, if you disincentivize combat or like make it so grueling or have all of these situations where you're in a narrow corridor and you are, like pincered from either side and just there's shit everywhere and they're throwing chairs and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, like too much of it, again, like you're saying, like the horror is lost and now you're an annoyance. It's a mosquito that I'm swatting away, or like a cloud of mosquitoes and not like the horrifying, creepy, monstrous character that I was dreading encountering in some of the depths of like the first area early on in the game.
I will have a lot more to say about combat and fun factor, I think. For sure. But one thing I did want to, one of the things that knocked it down for me, along with kind of the massive tonal shift between what you expect from a survival horror game and what this game actually is, which is a Souls-like, roguelike sort of thing with a lot of repetition, trying to get the right parry and trying to get the right timing down and not being really afraid of losing anything except for time.
Yeah.
I also just don't understand the fucking inventory system in this game, man. It makes no sense to me, because I can carry around every weapon in the game, but I still can't carry around more than 2 goddamn mushroom pouches or 2 goddamn ginseng teas.
Yeah.
And in other survival horror games where your resources and consumables are limited, you normally learn ways to carry more through the course of the game. You know,
or like a Resident Evil style, like grid based trade-off, like you were making choices.
Yeah. Nope. None of that.
Yeah, it's just arbitrary, like, this is your limit, just deal with it.
Like, in my head, this game should be getting like a 5 or a 6 from me, gameplay wise, because I don't think it knows what it wants to be. I think it's trying to be 3 separate games all at the same time. The problem is, it still succeeds as a game. Like, it's still a good survival horror game, despite the fact that I don't think I can call it a survival horror game by itself.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think it gets a little confused because it's trying to do a few things at once, genre-wise and like game system-wise, that occasionally when they butt up against one another, it reduces the power or effectiveness of one of the other systems, like I was just talking about with how it handles death and combat. But I loved the convergence. Like when it's working, it's really working for me. And yeah, the combat ends up being like kind of tedious and repetitive by the end. I didn't really feel like the boss battles were very good. There wasn't much to them.
Just
they didn't feel
put
a
pin in the for fun factor. Put a pin in combat being tedious and frustrating. I want to come back to that one because I have actually a very pleasant comment about that.
Okay. Yeah. The puzzles are fine. You know, it's like, I don't know, the kind of, you go into a room and there's a bunch of like hanging corpses and you read a story about who these people were and then you move their pedestals in chronological order, like according to the story, like that kind of stuff. Like it's fairly intuitive, not a whole lot of friction there. Find this item. Oh, that went back like way over in this other area. Let's go put it back. It does briefly, maybe not so briefly, depending on like whether you fix the Butsudan, but hey, yōkai, here we are. The Nuri Bodoke, the creature that haunts a dirty or just like not properly maintained like household shrine, the Butsudan, that appears and pursues you through multiple game areas. You can eventually get it to fuck off if you fix the altar.
Yeah, man, fuck that guy. It would remind me of like Mr. X or Tyrant from Resident Evil 3. Just like, except he'll just like fucking show up. Like he'll just summon himself from the floor and he hits like a goddamn truck, man. Like he's slow. You can run away from him and lose him. And that's fine. The game actually has a couple of little bugs here and there where he'll just get stuck in a door frame trying to run at you. And so you can lose him pretty easily. But man alive, if he catches you in a corner, you are absolutely boned.
Especially when there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 other enemies and like they're already just, everyone's clusterfucked together. I did like that you could pit enemies against one another. That was a fun thing that I did occasionally. But yeah, he's good and creepy. He's got the eyeballs like dangling from the sockets. And you think he's gone. And then it's the very final, the Tower of No Interval.
Yes, Tower of No Interval.
Just like the endless staircase leading up to the final boss. And you get in there like, what is going on here? Is there like some trick or is it just a really long staircase? Like, I don't know. And then you hear something behind you and you turn around and he's just right fucking there behind you. And like, that is a very good jump scare. So it plays with like other horror, like game genre tropes of like pursue an enemy that you cannot defeat You just gotta have to like outrun or hide from and deal with while you're trying to explore and solve puzzles, and adds a good bit of stress there. And you mentioned the varied environments. It's more like a visual thing for me, but yeah, going through like these like completely dark like prison cell areas that are illuminated only by like this ghostly glowing skull head flying around, and like going down like the first leg. I want to say the first part of this game is the scariest because you don't have your bearings set and you're just going down below. Oh, what is the first area? Is it the
Tower of Repetition?
The Tower of Repetition.
Yeah,
thank you.
Those caves underneath.
So dark.
Those caves underneath are rough.
Yeah.
That's a rough play.
Yeah, it's scary at first. You're not annoyed yet. I mean, you might be annoyed immediately. I don't know. But you just don't really know what the game really is yet. And the enemies are creepy, and it's very dark in these caves down below, and you don't really know what you're doing or where you're going. It was very disorienting in a good way. So
that is one positive thing I want to give it on gameplay real fast is the way it uses its varied locations in the maps and how they function. The maps in this game are good. Like, it's like when you hit a door or a staircase or something that doesn't work, like it's like your character is keeping notes of his travels as he's going through. Like when you
it's doing like the go ahead.
Yeah, it's very cool. Like when you're in the bathhouse and you have to turn the different colored wheels, once you see it, it locks up like in your map. Hey, this is the black pool. This is the white pool. These are red pools located here. Here's a yellow pool. Like all of those are labeled by color, so you know what you need, what you're looking for, and where you're needing to go. Like it doesn't hold your hand by any fucking stretch of the imagination. It does not hold your hand to this game, but the maps are. I liked them.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't said it more yet because, man, this game is just constantly pulling from or paying homage to, however you want to put it, Silent Hill. Another case where, like, Silent Hill, that map, just like you hit a locked door, you look at the map, it's like James or whoever just squiggled, you know, like a little pen mark on it, keeping track. And I love that. Yeah, well, probably that's maybe more of a fun factor, but just, I don't know, going through these different environments, the bathhouse, like lowering the water level, diving down through rotted floors / ceilings, like some verticality to it, and like going in and out like through little crevices in the walls, and finding the valves. Like that was a very cool area to me. In terms of fun, maybe the most fun in the game was going through the bathhouse area. But yeah, overall, like I love what it's going for. It gets a little confused, and some of the gameplay systems it goes for are a little ineffective, but overall, I think it's a good foundation for a game, and I would love to see it sort of fine-tuned or
I would love to see
upon.
I would love to see this fine-tuned a little bit
or something. But there's a lot of good stuff here. Yeah.
Okay, let's hit visuals. What do you got?
Oh, this is where it really shines. I give it a 9.
Really?
Yeah. How about you?
I gave it a 7.5.
Okay.
So
we feel very differently about the PS1 aesthetic.
Well, I was gonna say we've talked about this a lot. I have nostalgia for like NES, SNES era stuff that I don't think you always share. The PS1 graphics, there are moments that this really hit me really well, but it was so like the palette was so muddy to the point where there were times you couldn't even recognize that an enemy was within 10 feet of you until it rushed you. Like there was no chance of getting anything together because it just blended in with the textures of the walls. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There are some textures in this game that are beautiful. The ratty kind of cloth over some of the doorways.
Oh yeah.
Really, really good. And like the individual items when you pick them up, they look good. Like they're not fucking Cyberpunk 2077 or like they're not a AAA rendered object, but for what they are,
when you say they look good, they look bad. They look nasty. They look grimy and gritty and
gross.
Like
the ginseng tea is like this kind of pretty ornate green and gold like
Yeah.
gored. Like they do some really fun stuff.
Yeah. To me, like, I want to say the PS2 around that era is kind of the peak for survival horror visuals, actually. But the PS1 is right behind. Like, this whole era, they all have their benefits, even modern games, you know, that can achieve a greater level of visual fidelity and realism have their benefits. But there's something about horror and like this sense of alienation and loneliness that like a lesser degree of visual fidelity and realism for me works to like that advantage, and like the kind of grain of like Silent Hill 2 and the Fatal Frame games and stuff on PS2.
Sure.
I love all that. Something about PS1, it leaves more to the imagination. It's kind of what I brought up with narrative. Like, this is a game about things unsaid and unexplored to create a sense of horror. Similarly, visually, like I felt like it perfectly reinforced that theme and that sense of horror, because everything is just very grimy, grainy, low poly, just muddily textured. It recalls the original Silent Hill and some stuff on PS1. PS1, you know, a lot of times those character models are like lacking a lot of detail. Characters might like have sort of empty, eyeless faces, maybe no like movement or like lack of animation for like lip syncing or just like general, like it's a colder, deader world, more rife with like fog and like a shorter draw distance that leaves a lot like just beyond your eye line left obscured or undefined. But for me, that's a very compelling setting to be in, especially when you're going for horror. And yes, like it's frustrating on a gameplay level to run down a corridor and not even see there's an enemy there and then be in combat and maybe die. Like, that's frustrating. But on a visual level, yes, I love the idea of not even seeing the enemy right in front of your face. Like, that's scary. And there's enough variation in the visual environments, like you mentioned before. Like, you go to these separate, discrete, like, not biomes, but towers that, like, there's a little difference in the sense of, like, biome. But, like, it's all, like, of a holistic piece. It's all grainy and grimy and earth tone laden, but, like, there is a difference between the subterranean caves and, like, the prison cells, as opposed to, like, the sort of more dynamic, like, lighter range of, like, paper shoji sliding doors and, like, whitewashed walls in the more domestic, like, above ground environments. And it lets, like, moments, what you're talking about with some of the consumables and the, like, the little sparklies and, like, luminescent items, it really lets them shine through when they appear, because they are such a contrast to everything around you. And yeah, I never got tired of those pixelated PS1 textures and character models and environments. I loved it. And the way just your torch illuminates the darkness around you. The contrast between, like, the outdoor courtyard area with the rolling fog and some of these very, again, oppressive, enclosed, just suffocating interior environments. I thought it was incredible. The reason that it's a 9 for me, like, that's a very high score, it is very derivative of Silent Hill. Like, it is constantly reminding you of what it's pulling from. So I guess kind of derivative in that way. It's not a wholly... It's unique in the way that it combines that aesthetic with medieval Japan, which is something that Fatal Frame also kind of played on, so it's not entirely new to me, but the way it mixes them is still, it feels fairly unique. I felt like some of the UI was kind of clunky, like the menus weren't the best to navigate in the inventory. I didn't care for that.
They were not, no.
Yeah, tabbing between, like, submenus, and one weird choice, like with the dialogue UI layout, like whenever you talk to an NPC, like instead of just having like a descending, like vertically series of, like, in the order in which it's spoken dialogue, we have like the NPC on the left and then your responses on the right. And sometimes it's just kind of weird to have like these two blocks of text where, like, you're reading to the bottom of the NPC on the left and then you have a response way up on the top right of, like, the other side of the UI.
It's very strange.
Visual choice. Yeah, it doesn't, like, it doesn't immediately, like, it takes a second to reorient yourself, but I feel like with a UI like that, you don't want any friction there. You want it to just be intuitive to like the way we naturally read stuff. So
yeah,
there were some weird choices like that. And yeah, the fact that it, you know, like it wears its influences on its sleeve, and I think that's cool. One thing, like the last point of visuals, man, like the boss battles in particular, like the cutscenes that bookend those when they're like showing up or being destroyed. And it goes into like this hyper grainy,
yeah,
with like wild off kilter camera angles, like panning around in an unnatural way as it's like being birthed or dying, and just this like oppressive grating. This is a sound thing, but the jarring, like very loud grind of something, like some, you don't even know what it is, like undefined machinery, or just, it's what Silent Hill does so well, just like nasty, just cacophony noise. Paired with that, like, yeah, this is straight up Silent Hill, but I love it there. So yes, I will take some of that here with the Labyrinth of the Demon King. Like, that actually enhances the horror. I thought that was great, even if it is like, yeah, that's a direct Silent Hill influenced thing. So overall, yeah, I thought it was wonderful visually. It's like exactly my kind of shit.
Yeah, I can see why it's successful. I can see why it's great. It's just not my cuppa.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
Sure.
It just fuck, dude. One of the bosses you face is just basically Oogie Boogie from fucking Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, the new Peppo?
Yeah. The
big massive flesh with the little centipedes bursting out of it.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in Fun Factor, because fuck that guy all over everything.
But, oh yeah, negative fun factor on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a yokai. That is like an established.
Yeah.
With some of these choices, like visually, that's not the most interesting thing, potentially. Like just this big massive flash.
But lore wise, it functions.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Like, these are all based in traditional Japanese folklore and yokai, which I think is really cool.
All right, sound.
It's the same for me. It's basically the same take as visuals. I gave it a 9.
I actually
similarly like
8.5.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I mentioned, like, you know, just the groan and shriek and howls of wind and like the, I don't know, the ambient nasty noise, and it all made me feel very like unsettled and unnerved. It was like alien and just lonely, this world, and everything was sort of wrapped in like a sort of enigma, even the friendly, quote unquote friendly characters. And again, I really like the choice to garble their speech.
Yeah,
I do too. Like, enhanced the feeling of alienation and feeling unsettled in this world where like even your friendly characters, like, they are less friendly, even if they're saying something that's like makes you think they are a companion, just by way of like, we have taken out that element of traditional human speech from this encounter, and you're just getting garbled noise. Really enhances that feeling.
It is definitely made evident that you as a player and as a character do not belong in this world. And for me, at least, the thing that does that best is the sound of this game.
Yeah, it's great. Like the shriek of a creature, like just down the corridor. Even like, there's not a lot of music, which again, it's understated. Like, that is a strength. Like, less is more.
When you notice it's there, you notice it's there.
Yeah. But with the boss battles, you have this sort of grinding, rhythmic, like percussive, mechanical sound that like is upbeat enough. Like, okay, let's fucking go. Like, let's take out this boss. But it's still scary and unsettling.
Agreed.
And not upbeat to the point where it removes the power of that encounter. It's something that is always tough to pull off in a survival horror. It's like, you want an interesting, challenging boss battle and sort of combat encounter, but then is that going to end up making it feel less horrific than the just run-of-the-mill enemies that populate the world, you know? Like, going back to Silent Hill, like when Pyramid Head shows up, like, that is the perfect boss encounter. It's fucking scary still. And something like Resident Evil, even though I love the Resident Evil series, I've always felt like the boss characters, like the boss monsters, are like awesome, gnarly monsters. But some of them, they almost end up, especially in later games, feel just more like an arcadey, like action combat encounter, and less horrific than the way some other survival horror games handle boss battles. I felt like this one was pretty good. Although, again, there wasn't much to them. And some of them were just outright annoying.
I was going to say, like, do you have much else to say, or do you want to move on to fun factor with that perfect segue?
Move on to fun, yeah.
Okay, what do you got for fun factor?
We're going to definitely diverge here.
Yeah?
Yeah. I gave it a 9.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I gave it
in different ways.
I gave it a 7.
That's fair.
I did have fun on occasion in this game.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking bosses. Oogie Boogie with his goddamn centipedes can absolutely jump off of a cliff.
Yeah, that shit sucked.
The first boss, I loved. I thought it was a very, very cool design. She hits like a freaking truck, and she's relatively quick, but you don't have other ads to really worry about. It is just a one-on-one boss battle. And once you get the mechanic down for how fast she is easily taken out if you are patient.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just ran in circles and then stopped for a second to get just a little bit of stamina back, and then I'd start running in circles again. And then I'd hold like a charged heavy attack. I'd turn, hit her real good, and start running and do the whole fucking thing over again.
That's cool.
Big boy with his centipedes sucks butt. I liked the third boss. I thought he was cool.
Was that the Tsuchigumo? The big spider? Or what was the third one? Okay.
No. I thought the spider was more of like a mini boss.
Okay. I'm trying to remember, though. Like, it's been a little bit.
Like the dude with the meat hook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was a cool boss that would just summon a one-hit skeleton to bug you a little bit. But he was also fun. And the Demon King, I still don't know how that was a thing that we beat. So
if you have a bunch of talismans saved up, that's the thing with most of these bosses. Like, I just saved up ammo for whatever, like arrows or little iron balls for my musket, or just like talismans, and then just unload. And it didn't quite trivialize them. I still had some trouble with a few of them for sure, but like once I realized, like, kind of, if you just don't use this stuff through most of the game and have a bunch stocked up, like, you can knock them out without a whole lot of trouble.
That's the thing that fucking sucks. You can't have a bunch saved up. You can only have 5 musket rounds or 5 arrows at any time.
Yeah, it's not enough, but it'll get you, a portion of the way there.
I will say this. I will ask this. What weapon was your main for the game?
Shoot. I didn't look back at the inventory to remind myself of what they were all called, but I had a big something because it was a big blade. What was that called?
The Dao blade. Yeah.
Dao? Was it the Dao blade? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you have to put that bad boy together in the Tower of Repetition, right?
Yeah, I had that. I had the sort of I did eventually upgrade my katana all the way, I think, or like second to the last. I'm trying to remember. I got a bunch of upgrades for that, and that was pretty gnarly. I like the hatchet for a while, like getting that for the first time and like crushing some heads. But yeah, how about you?
This is
shit! It's just coming back to me like a little dagger because I was gonna say speed at which you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Beloved patron Joey Bishop and I beat this game together.
Okay.
We kind of handed off the controller when one person died. He'd take over, and then we'd go back and forth, and it was basically just us figuring out the mechanics of the game together. Because I had an extra, day or two to fiddle with it. Yeah. The tantō. Holy shit, the tantō was a goddamn lifesaver because you attack so quickly that they can't get a follow-up attack on you.
Yeah.
Every other weapon, people can get follow-ups on you. Especially the rat dudes.
Yeah. Now, like, took a minute for it to come back to me, but right, that was a big game changer. Like, that was a big change in the way I was playing the game, because up until then, like, I was treating combat, like I said, more methodically. But right, once I had those and realized there's like there's a method of just like going in, so you can get in there so quick, and then sort of like as you attack, pivot around them to the back and get in multiple attacks and get out of the way of their kicks and counterattacks if they even get one in. That was the weapon of the game for sure. Until I got the upgraded katana.
The tantō, to me, is the most overpowered weapon in any survival horror game I've ever played because it also causes bleeding.
Right.
That is how we beat. That's how we beat Oogie Boogie and his stuff. Like, you'd run in, you'd hit him 3 times really fast, cause him bleeding damage, so he just loses life a little bit at a time for, I think it's like 10 seconds. Run back, squish millipedes until he stops losing bleed damage, and then run in again and do it all over. And as long as you had timing right and you could watch your feet for those fucking millipedes, you got him. But man alive, figuring out that the tantō was that useful. Weapon of the game. Weapon of the game.
Yeah. That was actually fun. Like, it was fun to do combat with that.
Yes, I agree. Except when
it's
you hit the
weird to
skeletons.
say, like,
yeah.
Well, I liked how it forced you to mess with different weapons, like to do blunt damage or, like pierce damage for certain things. And I like
the dogs were neat. I liked the dogs.
Yeah.
The skeletons, fuck off. But the dogs were cool.
Skeletons, it didn't help that like where you most encounter them is like this very labyrinthine, like definitely delivering on the promise of the labyrinth of the Demon King. Like, that's a dark maze of an area, and they're just everywhere, and you're getting it from all sides. It's a lot.
That's rough.
But again, like with so much of this game, like there's something there. It might not be fully fleshed out. With the skeletons, not fleshed out at all. But I was having fun when I wasn't having fun, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of this game is not fun. It's just kind of annoying or trying or tedious, but I never lost sight of what was most appealing to me, if that makes sense. Like, even though it wasn't quote unquote fun to do a lot of these things, like, it maintained the atmosphere and tone and feeling that I loved so much that, like, even though this is annoying me on a gameplay level, it is so succeeding. In fact, even that might be contributing to me feeling the horror and stress of this world. And I loved being immersed in that world so much that, yeah, man, like, I was constantly having fun. I really was, even when I was kind of annoyed. But again, this is my shit. Like, on this show, you've seen like the kind of stuff that appeals to me, like nasty, grimy, grainy, horrific, body horror, unsettling, alienating experiences in media. And this is one of those. And it's my kind of shit, man.
Yeah, it is definitely that. And it is certainly not as much my shit as your shit, but I can certainly enjoy aspects of a game like this. And I like, again, like, I'm not going to give this an 8 or a 9 because I didn't have a blast every moment I was playing it.
That's fair. Yeah.
But there were some moments in this game that were so satisfying. Mostly due to that little dagger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is like another one. We've done this a couple times where we kind of have pushed the limits of what our show is, because we usually don't do a source material. Like, this is a new IP, but we're kind of playing with the idea of sourcing yōkai, like, based on the strength of this. Like,
but I mean, honestly,
those creatures,
like you said, this is also kind of a revamp or a reimagination of a lot of Silent Hill stuff too.
Yeah, it is in the lineage of Silent Hill, PS1 survival horror, and Kingsfield, and some other like dungeon crawler kinds of like first person adventure exploration dungeon crawler kinds of experiences. It's pulling from a lot, but it is a new IP that I hope continues, because I really, really liked it. I would source yōkai on the strength of this. I would check out more. I would look into Kingsfield if I hadn't played it, or Silent Hill if I hadn't played it. I would seek out more experiences like this on the strength of this. Like, it is my favorite game in terms of new releases I've played this year. Granted, I've only played like 3 new games. I mostly play retro. This is like, it feels retro, which is something that appeals to me. Like, it feels like it could exist on the PS1, even though it has some like more modern gameplay mechanics and like quality of life and like system-based things that you'd probably be less likely to see on the PS1. You could see it existing there. Yeah, it's my current favorite game this year that's come out in 2025. Yeah, man, sourceable for sure. If it had a source material, I'd be looking for it.
I would definitely, I would source games like this. especially if they have an actual functional parry mechanic that I can get into. I hated the parry mechanic in this game, dude. I hate it so bad.
That's fair. Yeah.
I was so used to like Black Myth, like going back a year ago and like having these beautiful parry mechanics to this one that just felt kind of clunky. But
it's a clunky boy.
It is a clunky boy. It's an 80.5.
All right. I think this is a solid B of a game, so that's fair.
Yeah. For me, it's more like a strong C, maybe leading into C+.
All right. All right, I'll take it.
But I definitely had some good times with this game.
I'm glad, because it was my recommendation. I would still wholeheartedly recommend it to anyone who likes any of the games I listed and the influences we talked about and like this genre of game. Like, it has its, again, less developed aspects, but man, if you're trying to get into the yōkai spirit, if you're trying to get into Japanese spooky season, or if you're just getting a head start on October spooky season, not a bad way to kick things off.
No, not a bad way at all.
Good game. Good game.
Good game.
Hell yeah.
Horrifying game on certain moments. Absolutely horrifying.
Good, nasty, gross, bath scum licking game. We didn't even talk about the akaname.
No, we did not.
Just all over the bathhouse. Just licking up the bath scum.
And then spitting it at you.
Cleanliness is next to godliness, and this game is in hell.
Yes, it is. And so were we.
But we're not always in hell. Sometimes we're on YouTube and Facebook. And
oh, that is very good housekeeping transfer.
Wait. Still hell.
Still. I do like the fact over the past couple of months, my response is just like, we're on Facebook, and I don't know why. But we're on Facebook. I don't know.
We've always had it, so you just sort of leave it there. Yeah.
Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, where you can find all of, as Brandon mentioned, all of his Twitch archived material, and also a full back catalog of all of our episodes. And speaking of Twitch, Brando, it's Japanese spooky season.
It is.
So what are we doing?
I'm still running the charity for Middlecade for Palestinians. So that's running through the end of August. So still had a lot of like special streams around that charity. Still having to play the Horse Girl game till the end of the summer. Still playing Phantasy Star Online, community streams on the channel till the end of the summer. Although I'm going to continue that just because it's so much fun. We're going to keep doing that.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah, regular community game streams with PSO. Just playing a bunch of random stuff, honestly. Just working through some games I started. I've been on a Super Nintendo kick. I was on a Sega Saturn kick. We're all over the place. But if any of that sounds good, twitch.tv/LeJuneBug. Link down in the show notes, right next to the link to CNC LeCamp, who has just put out a new EP.
Jesus Christ, this dude.
Like always the case.
Like so prolific.
The composer, the architect, the performer, the musician who constructed our wonderful theme song, and also my Twitch channel theme song. Just a great musician. Check him out on YouTube. Great work.
And other great people that you should definitely check out and send all of your love to are our beloved patrons. It's that time of
Thank you so much.
I didn't say it this time.
Because I cut you off.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know who wouldn't mind stumbling into in a nasty corridor of the Labyrinth of Demon King? We wouldn't mind seeing some friendly faces, some actual friendly faces, unlike the suspicious friendly faces that we met in this labyrinth. Those people are Frederick Weber Vorhog, 13th Horseman, Joey Bishop, Susie Daggs, and Jacob Spindell.
Friendship.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for supporting us and listening to us blather and loving us. We love you. Kisses. So, next month, Brando, is almost a continuation of Brandon's birthday month. It is more of your shit.
It's just my shit on my shit on my shit, just month after month. We mentioned many times during this episode Silent Hill. Let's Let's check out Silent Hill.
We're doing Silent Hill.
Fog or nasty grime. Going back in for more.
Cool. Let's do it, man. So we'll be covering the
Silent September.
Silent September. Yeah, we're covering the film Silent Hill first, and then the remake of Silent Hill 2, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. A game I have not played, or you. Now, I love the original, true masterpiece. You have not played the original Silent Hill 2, this is correct?
Correct.
Oh boy, I'm so excited.
Are you ready to really just kind of flip your shit a little bit? I've never played Silent Hill.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking, like, you haven't played 2. I don't think you've played any of them. You are in for a treat. I hope. I've heard the remake is good. So let's find out if it's good. The original is very, very good.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Legs crossed. Torso, legs crossed. You might not know, but you will soon.
Okay, you just said torso, legs crossed, which I don't know what that means. Like an arachnid?
Yeah, you'll know.
Okay, cool.
Lips are sealed.
Do I get to have a tantō? Because if I have a tantō, I'm actually like kind of stoked.
Oh, no spoilers.
No spoilers on the tantō situation.
You're gonna be missing
right
that
now.
tantō, I guess is all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So yeah, month on Silent Hill. We also are planning on doing Silent Hill F. That comes out later, so I think that'll be an after the fact episode that we might tack on at a later date. But we are planning on checking that out.
We'll cover that at some point.
Depending
on how long,
September. Yeah,
how long the gameplay is, it may not be something we drop until December or January, depending on just how big of a game that is.
We're thinking about it though.
Yeah, we are.
We're thinking about lots of spooky stuff. So
all
we hope to see
that
you come
good
back
spooks.
for that. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I had dreams about this game, like walking through labyrinths and being chased by men with burlap sacks over their heads, and they were just carrying around like a wardrobe in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
So the game obviously affected me in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, you just need to, if it's too scary, you use all of your mental power to just imagine, to conjure Jareth, who steps down upside down from the ceiling doing the fushigi with his little crystal balls.
Yep.
Singing one of those classic David Bowie tracks. And it takes the edge off. Down in the underground. That's where we were. We went down the underground.
We did. One more time. The weird scum liquors. What are they called?
Akaname.
Akaname? Don't forget
Akaname
to check your toilets for Akaname.
So the word aka refers to the dead skin on a person's body and all the the grime and the dirt and the
Jesus.
sweat.
Okay, that's a lot worse than I thought it was.
It also might allude to like the impurities or defilements of the soul. So like in Buddhism, like just negative thoughts, like just this general idea of like,
this is
do not
horrible.
be derelict in cleaning your shit, your soul, your body, and also your bath. Or else the akaname.
I'm going to leave us with this. Don't forget to check your toilets for akaname. Yep. Oh, God, slurp.
But do check right behind you, because the fucking, God, it was so scary. The Nuribotoke. I blanked on it, because Jesus Christ, he might be right behind you.
I just called him Big Eyeball Man.
Big dangly eyeball man.
Dangly. Jesus.
They're dangling. They're outside of the sockets. They were just resting on either cheek.
I don't know if that's a word I'd ever used to describe someone to their face.
You don't
want
to end the episode with dangly balls?